Thank you that you are so flexible. You will join us right now. And
it's a great pleasure.
Nicola Farronato in Torino is head of the innovation team and advisor to Deputy Mayor Innovation and Smart City. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're enjoying the program, and I will ask you for your presentation.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen at the moment. Can you confirm you can see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. So thank you very much for giving me the floor. And of course, I'm particularly happy, and I'm saying hello to Michael because we recently met a few times. And I've been spending 8 years of my life in Dublin, so I really believe it's a smart city. So my role today is to introduce you what I'm convinced is a very interesting job that we are developing in the city of Turin. The title I give to this presentation is a city as a ground for experimentation and for digital transformation. My role is the head of the innovation team, and I would like to start with a very nice picture in this slide, which is showing a view of Turin by night, which is certainly one of the most ancient and full of history city in Italy, but also one of the most innovative. In fact, quite a few disruptive innovation has been conceived in this land. Companies like Fiat in terms of automobiles, companies like Olivetti in terms of all the information technology, and so far up to the new startups, there is quite a lot in terms of innovation happening. A couple of years ago, Turin has decided with the new administration to position itself as a city lab. So in a way to adopt a new concept of smart city and try to attract experimentation, so pre-commercial innovation, to come from different locations in the world, and to actually fuel the soil and the ground in terms of innovation of the city. I would like to describe you a little bit the context of Torino Smart City, or in other words, Torino Smart Cities, since we like to identify Torino perimeter as one as a hub for different smart towns, with each of them has a specific positioning in terms of key technologies the city is looking at. In fact, we have an aerospace district, science district, industry 4.0 is definitely important, healthcare in particular, in the context that we are all living with the COVID crisis, has been strengthened. And of course, urban air mobility with drones is also a very important area. What we have designed in the perimeter of the city, which you see here at a very high level, is an ideal interpolation line, which we call Innovation Mile, which is basically going through all the different smart towns of the city and trying to narrow down to a common ground, to a common fil rouge, the approach of the city as a city lab. So an open laboratory for urban experimentation, which is willing to boost and use a number of ingredients that are in the city DNA. Turin, in fact, is the third city in terms of GDP in Italy, and we have a little bit less than 1 million people, more than 10%. Thanks to two very quite common public universities, the University of Turin and the Polytechnic of Turin. We have something south than 350 startups, which is a smaller number than what we would like, so definitely an area to improve. And we have a very important ground of SMEs, small and medium enterprises, with something like 75,000 companies. A couple of years ago, the city has decided to strengthen the tools arm with a new policy, which has been called Torino City Lab. So Torino City Lab is actually what we call an open innovation platform, which is providing the city with the opportunity of being a playmaker, so connecting demand and offer of innovation, trying to accelerate, try to boost, and trying to be a conducive of innovation culture among different actors. What has happened in the last 24 months is that more than 40 partners of different identities, and including Tier 1, has decided to join this platform. We have been launching three different challenges, so 3 open calls in 3 verticals, 1 edutech, 1 IoT, and 1 mobility for startups. And we have been delivering more than 35 projects into the main pillars and the main verticals. So if we look at the ecosystem Torino City Lab is trying to build and put together, we have 4 main categories. We certainly have top left, the corporate world, with companies like Intel, Cisco, ST Microelectronics, and more. So companies which are international champions, which are seen in Turin as a good environment and a good ecosystem to invest and to develop R&D programs. On the other hand, we have brought research with different research entities from universities to public and private consortium and collaborations for research. We have the bottom-up innovators, of course, including startups and inventors, and we have the finance arm, which is typically the venture capital. In particular, in Torino City Lab today, we have top 15 VCs in Italy, and we are now starting to onboard international VCs. What the good news here is that even if the city of Turin has 10,000 employees, so quite a structured organization, we in the innovation department, in the innovation team, we are trying to reason up as a startup. So test, adopt, and scale. Trying to bring a lean approach and trying to really create a public-private partnership to boost the ecosystem we are building around. So I was mentioning before that one of the strengths of Torino City Lab is building a global ecosystem. So global players putting their know-how, their energy, and their assets to local innovators and local habilitators in the community in order to have an ecosystem able to attract more and more experimentation. What you see in the second half of the slide here is a number of partners we have involved in. One of the most important projects is as a smart city, which is a smart road, Turin. So Turin has in its DNA a very strong position when we speak about mobility, and of course smart mobility in terms of autonomous and connected vehicle is one of the key that the innovation team is developing to A, attract innovation, B, have an impact on the life of all the citizens, and of course trying to boost the business opportunity and business development with innovation to local industry and local enterprise community. So one of the main focus, as I was mentioning beforehand, is smart road. What we have done in terms of smart road, in my opinion, is quite interesting because, first of all, Turin has been the first city to authorize a smart road, an urban smart road circuit, which means 35 kilometers pre-authorized for companies at all levels to come here and experiment connected and autonomous driving. It means that there are at least 2 layers of work here, 2 highlights I would like to make. One is what we have been investing to is the infrastructure layer. So what you see here is quite a bit of 5G's antenna, smart lighting, IoT sensors, and few other bits of technology like edge computing and high power and performance computing at at the core, at the center of the city, in order to boost two levels of mobility that we are looking at. One certainly is road mobility, so ground mobility, because it is happening, and I will show you a few examples in the next few slides. But also we have to consider that there is a very important convergence in terms of infrastructure between ground mobility and air mobility. So what we are trying to do is generate economies of scope to converge the innovation happening at ground, at road level, with the innovation happening at air mobility level. A couple of very important elements that I would like to stress here is that what we have been recently doing is partnering with 5GAA, so trying to strengthen the ecosystem at association level, so pan-European association, one of the most advanced in terms of 5G and autonomous and connected driving. These are technologies and keywords which are really going together. And we have to consider that, speaking about data, all mobility is certainly generating a lot of data. So we have, and we are approaching quite a lot of data challenges in terms of how to create an open data policy, which is more and more compelling. At the moment, Turin has something like 2,000 open data sets that the city is delivering and is giving through APIs to innovators and to companies in order to develop on top of these services. On the other hand, we are trying to improve the capacity of data, and in particular for mobility, advanced mapping, for providing objects like drones, like autonomous cars, like autonomous shuttles, the possibility to be soon in our roads. A couple of effects of this has been the attraction of tech stars in terms of top international brands for startups in Turin. We have just finished the first smart mobility program of Techstars, and Turin will have for the next 3 years the European exclusivity of Techstars when we speak about smart roads. The first class has been 11 companies coming from all over the world. The 50% of them, so 5 to 6 companies, have been already signing contracts with the city for experimentation through the gate of Torino City Lab. This is an interesting signal that the city is willing to engage early stage with startups, providing new solutions for smart mobility. Second interesting example is local motors. Just at the beginning of January, we have started first city in Europe, a service with an L4, so an autonomous shuttle produced by Local Motors, a company headquartered in Silicon Valley. And we have launched this service in a United Nations campus that we have here in Turin, which is not exactly a normal road, but is very close to be and to recreate conditions like pedestrians, like different objects on the road within the campus that you see on the right-hand side in the map of this slide. This has been a very interesting project. I would like to try to show you this video, a very quick video showing you the kickoff of this project. I'll start the video in a second. If I can. All right, here is the video. So what you see here is the mayor, the different personalities at the kickoff. This is the Italian Minister for Innovation. And what you have seen here in the shuttle is an L4 on a 1:5 scale of autonomous vehicle, which is backed up in the cloud, of course, and is servicing people from the UN campus in Turin still every day, and it's being a very interesting project that we have been able to deliver. Just to give you a little bit of an idea about the engagement framework, this is a typical framework that we are using when developing a public-private partnership. So we have started from the opportunity of by Local Motors, so a US company looking to launch an experimentation of with an autonomous shuttle in Italy, Q1 2020. We as a city have started to the dialogue with them. So through the Torino City Lab arm, we have identified a main sponsor of the operation, so sponsor in cash and in kind, which is one of the top 3 Italian insurance company. And thanks to their budget, we have been able then to aggregate the research layer and the secondary service layer. And with all this package, we have gone to the ministry and got the Italian government endorsement of the operation. This has been, again, quite a successful project we have been starting. Not only road mobility, we have quite a few interesting projects coming from Torino City Lab partners and being developed in collaboration, which are projects developed with data and human behavior at the center. Ital Design, one of the most important international companies headquartered in Turin, with regards to the design of vehicles, part and new mobility paradigms, has developed a new concept for the metro of Turin. And the concept, just to summarize, is provided by predictive algorithms, which are displaying using different lights before the truck arrives, the availability of space. This is also something that we are testing with the current social distancing provision that we have. And that's, again, another interesting project we are looking at when we speak about Turin City Lab partners. Now, I'm moving to one of the second verticals that we have, which is urban air mobility. Drones in Turin has been quite heavily welcomed since 2015. And what we have, we are working at different projects with national and international scope with regards to drones. So one of them is drones for shows, so for entertainment purposes. We have been probably one of the top cities in Europe using drones for public spectacles like the City Patrons St. John, which is happening next 24th of June. I'm just coming from a meeting for this new project, and I can anticipate that we will establish the new world record with regards to indoor drones for a show. So the next 24th of June, there will be a special event inside one of the most iconic buildings in Turin. But drones means also other use cases. Security, so human security is one, environment is certainly another. And one of the use cases that we have been working recently has been a transoceanic drones mission. So pilot in Turin, drone in a mission in Detroit, Michigan, for sanitization purposes. So again, one of the measures that the COVID emergency has obliged us to dedicate. I would like to show you a quick video on this and then wrap up my presentation. What you see here, the titles are in Italian. I do apologize for this. What you will see here is that the recreation of a control rooms, so pilot room in Turin by our city drone unit, and an industrial building in Detroit being inspected and sanitized by this special drone for indoor and for special inspections. This drone has been developed by an Italian-American company headquartered in Turin and in Troy, Michigan. And it is a drone, it is a very special drone because it is not using GPS for remote controlling and beyond visual line of sight piloting, but it's rather using some quite unique technology which has been brought by on-premise sensors and the interaction with the TLC antennas. So what you see here is a little bit of training that the Turin pilots has been doing in some Michigan buildings, like the headquarters of the company, like different like bridges. So urban air mobility for us is certainly a very important use case that we are willing to develop and strengthen to position Turin as one of the top cities in Europe for providing very sophisticated services and technology connected to drones. Here you see sanitization of indoor premises and danger inspection, which are areas in which the cost opportunity of sending a machine rather than a human are emerging in a very interesting way. I'll go back to my presentation. Sorry about that. There we go. Just the last few remarks on a project we have been on a solidarity campaign that we have been launching during COVID, which is called Torino City Lab. Love for the city and love for innovation that we feel. We have been aggregating 100 projects along with our most interesting technology partners, having to do and to cover needs from working environments and school, healthcare, municipalities, and small companies. One of these projects has been particularly interesting because it has been run with Cisco. We have been providing all the municipality elderly people houses with a telepresence technology run by Cisco. And this project has been so successful that the CEO of Cisco Global has been mentioning this and has been connecting with us for a US special news on this. We are something new we are deploying. The use of drones for some COVID rules that are in place, like social distancing, or the use of camera and IoT sensors in town to provide policymakers with some tools to be able to better rule this phase 2 of COVID. I will have a few examples if anybody will have some questions. Last point I would like to make is that the work that we have been doing to reposition Turin from just an industrial economy with an innovation DNA to an experimentation city, to an open urban lab, able to attract the tier 1 brands when we speak about innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting.